Coco Gauff was once hailed as the future queen of American tennis, a teenage icon, carrying the weight of hope, brands, and legacy. Yet, in less than an hour, she was completely dismantled. 58 minutes. No sets won. No cheering crowds. No confident gaze. And the person who did it was a name most American audiences had never heard. Alex Eala. Eala didn't scream after every point won. No racket smashing, no calling out names. Only silence. A chilling silence. She stepped onto the court as if she had already foreseen everything. Every serve, every look of confusion from Gauff, every drop shot that made the entire stadium hold its breath. A musical score that was already written, and she was the only one who knew the next note. The crowd began to murmur, then panic, then excitement. They weren't cheering because Eala was strong. They were cheering because they couldn't believe what they were witnessing. How could a girl from a place where tennis is not the national sport control a match like a programmer writing code? And then social media exploded. Highlights were shared millions of times. The question echoed across Reddit, X, and TikTok. Who is she? But the answer wasn't in her profile or her ranking. It was in the match itself, in the unblinking gaze, in the way Eala turned an underdog story into an icon without needing a single explanation. This was not just a victory. This was a transition, a silent declaration that the game had shifted. And if you thought you knew everything about Coco Gauff, wait until the 14-minute mark of this video, where the long-hidden truth will make you question everything. If you believe moments like these deserve to be told in a more extraordinary way, subscribe to Pro Tennis 360, because this is just the beginning of a series of stories that will make you doubt everything you thought you knew. Across the net, the name no one expected. Right from the moment she stepped onto the court, Alex Eala made some spectators squint. Not because of glamour, but because they had never seen her. A few quickly flipped through the program, whispering and asking each other, who is she? Meanwhile, Coco Gauff walked out to the usual roar, as familiar as a performance where everyone knows the ending. But that day, the court was not for the famous. It was for the ready. Eala had no fame. She didn't come from a prestigious academy, nor did she hold any major titles. Hailing from the Philippines, where tennis is a passion, but rarely an opportunity, she grew up amidst grueling practices under the harsh sun, surrounded by crumpled posters of Serena and Federer hanging quietly in the practice room. And she was the type of person who didn't need the spotlight to know her own worth. While Gauff smiled brightly at the cameras, Eala's eyes were fixed on the net. She was expressionless. She needed no encouragement. There was only silence, as if she were walking into a match predetermined long ago, not against an opponent, but against prejudice. An ESPN reporter once wrote, "The first time I met Eala, I thought she was an assistant carrying someone's racket bag." That quote once faded into thousands of news reports. But today it suddenly became a symbol for all those who have been underestimated just because they don't look like what we are used to seeing. Eala's silence wasn't due to a lack of confidence. It was because she understood a simple truth. Those who were once overlooked don't need to scream to be heard. They just need one moment. And that moment was getting closer. Because the only thing scarier than a powerful opponent is an opponent who has nothing to lose. The start of instability headline. The first serve, a thunderbolt on a clear day. On the very first serve, the atmosphere in the stadium changed color. A crisp, dry pop echoed. The ball streaked like lightning, stunning both the commentator and Gauff. It wasn't a tentative, exploratory serve. It was a warning. And Gauff, despite her experience, flinched slightly. A spectator in the front row exclaimed, "Wait, did you see that?" But things didn't stop there. The next return from Eala was not only precise, but carried a strange rhythm, like she was driving the tempo of the match early on. Without waiting for Gauff to set the pace, she created the rhythm, opened the court, and took the lead herself. Every shot was a sharp, clean, cold cut. No redundant strokes. No unnecessary movements. Only absolute precision to the point of being emotionless. And that precisely is what unsettled her opponent. Gauff started looking toward her coach earlier than usual. She bit her lip, turning away after several missed drop shots. Not because of the score, but because the initiative had vanished. She was no longer controlling the tempo. Eala remained silent, just a slight nod after each point, like someone who had just checked an item off a checklist. A commentator whispered, "She's not reacting. She's dictating." That statement marked a turning point in the perception of the entire stadium. At the 4-minute mark, a 6-second clip from the match began circulating on TikTok. A slow-motion shot of Eala returning a difficult serve, stepping up like a robot, and finishing with a cross-court forehand accurate to the inch. The caption read, "Who is this machine?" And from then on, the concept of a close match ceased to exist. 41 shots, 1 point, 1 moment, headline. The resistance of the marginalized. At the 12-minute mark, a rally lasting 41 shots became the epicenter of the entire match. It was called the point of no return. Gauff served. Eala returned. Forehand, backhand, cross-court, drop shot, repeat. Neither would yield. But there was a difference. Every time Gauff attacked, Eala took half a step back, observed, and then launched a counterattack, as if pre-programmed. Spectators rose to their feet. The air was suffocating. And on the 41st, the final shot, Eala stepped up, as if on cue, turned and swung. The forehand skimmed the baseline, almost drawing a straight line on the court. Silence. Then the umpire's call, "Game, Eala." The entire stadium erupted. But Eala didn't smile. No high fives. She walked back to the baseline, adjusted her shoelaces, as if she had only just finished roll call at practice. Gauff was different. She looked up, eyes red, disbelieving. And the fans, who were originally cheering for her, suddenly split into 2 camps. One still hoped. The other began to shift their attention to that silent girl. And right at that moment, the first hashtag started appearing. Hashtag Manila Miracle. The silent tactic, the power of the unnamed headline. Not luck, this was a plan. From the commentary booth to the VIP seats, people began to look at each other with suspicion. This was not luck. This was something that had been prepared. The truth is that for 2 weeks before the match, Eala and her team had secretly collected data on Gauff. They analyzed every serve, racket height, return angle, and Gauff's low points mid-set. Every weakness was pinned like a military campaign. And when the match began, Eala wasn't hitting the ball. She was activating the strategy. She didn't try to win quickly. She prolonged the rallies, pushing Gauff into a waiting state, and then tightened the loop with irritating topspin shots. To the spectators, this was tennis. To Eala, this was mathematics. The crowd initially thought she was cold-blooded. But that very silence was her weapon. The colder she was, the more impatient Gauff became. The more impatient, the more errors appeared. And when Gauff fumed over a line-grazing shot that the umpire overruled, Eala merely shrugged silently, as if watching a script play out line by line. "She's not playing to win," a veteran coach remarked. "She's playing to prove. I already know everything." When the star is shaken headline. The girl on the sidelines was no longer clapping. When the first set ended 6-1, a strange thing happened. The stadium went silent. Not because they didn't know how to cheer, but because they didn't know who they should cheer for anymore. The girl they idolized, Coco Gauff, had just been routed. And the winner, Alex Eala, didn't act like a winner. No fist pump. No yell. No, let's go. She simply walked to her seat, wiped her sweat, and drank water. Her face was calm. Her heart, in the words of her former coach, was like a machine running exactly according to a predetermined route. A camera caught a close-up of Gauff's face then, eyes red, jaw clenched, hand continuously rotating her racket. This was no longer a game. This was a psychological clash. Because for the first time in years, Coco was not controlling the tempo. She tried to regain the momentum in the second set. Deeper serves, harder swings, louder yells. And there was a moment that seemed to turn everything around, when Gauff hit a winner and turned to the crowd, raising her hands to call for support. The crowd immediately reacted. The roar surged like a wave. But then, Eala stepped up. No reaction, not swept up. The next serve, she pulled Gauff out of her forehand corner, and then finished with a wide-open cross-court shot. A 9-second rally, just 9 seconds, extinguished all the momentum that had just been sparked. The spectators fell back into limbo. The people who had clapped for Gauff were now taking pictures of Eala. The people who had held the hashtag #GoGauff banner were now recording clips with the caption, "This girl is icy." And the scary thing was, Eala still hadn't shown any emotion, as if this match was not enough to unlock her heart. The message behind the net headline: From fear to respect, the game changes hands. The final game. Gauff served to hold onto a fragile hope. The entire stadium stood up, the cheers reaching a peak. But Eala heard nothing. For her, the only sound that existed was the ball bouncing. Tap, tap, tap. Like the slow heartbeat of someone who has nothing left to lose. Gauff's serve went down the middle. Eala met it with a forehand, a slight spin. The rally began, only a few seconds, but enough for the crowd to hold their breath. And then, the cross-court shot, right on the line, decisive. Out. Gauff screamed. The umpire called IN. The court erupted. But Eala didn't. She just bowed her head and walked over for the handshake. In that moment, the camera captured something fascinating. The handshake between the two players was silent. But there was a look. Gauff looked at Eala as if she had just realized something bigger than the match. No bitterness, no denial. Just a flash of, "I underestimated you." After the match, Eala didn't go online to boast. No look at me now style victory. She posted only one line: "Thank you for believing. More work ahead." And the entire tennis community understood. A new player had emerged. Not loudly, not asking for a spot, just quietly stepping forward and taking the seat no one thought she belonged in. The legacy of 58 minutes of silence headline. From Who is SHE to Asian icon. The media called the match the Manila Miracle. Statisticians were confused. 58 minutes, 18 winners. For aces, only 6 unforced errors. But no number was enough to explain the viewers' emotion, that they had just witnessed something bigger than sports. In Manila, children rushed to the courts, drawing the letters E on their headbands. In New York, a veteran tennis writer wrote, "Eala didn't just win. She reset the definition of who is allowed to dream for an entire Asian generation." Some called her cold. Some called her a robot. But the truth is, in a world of people constantly shouting to be noticed, someone like Eala, who doesn't need noise, is the most profound kind of difference. And that is the pinnacle. Because Eala didn't need to win to be remembered. She just needed to be on time, in the right way, and not blink. The media shockwave headline. When coldness becomes a crime. Eala's victory didn't just shock the sports world. It created an earthquake in mass media. The strange thing was, people weren't just discussing the shot, they were discussing how she didn't celebrate. No crying, no yelling, no chest pounding like most players who have their first major victory. Cold to the point of being emotionless. One headline read, "Lack of emotion, disrespectful?" Another article questioned. Some analysts even asked, was Gauff booed by the crowd because she was a person of color losing to a foreigner? The story transcended the boundaries of the court. But that was also a sign of the shift. Previously, only the top 5 players could create that kind of controversy. Now a girl from Southeast Asia was at the center. And she wasn't there because of shocking statements, no drama, but simply because she played too well. What confused the media most was Eala's lack of reaction. No posting online, no clarification, no defense. She continued to train. She appeared at a smaller tournament a few days later, still as quiet as before. And that very thing, the refusal to explain herself, turned her into an icon. A journalist who had followed Serena since 2001 wrote, "I have witnessed many major victories, but I have never seen one that confused the media like this. Because they don't know whether to love or to fear this girl." Eala's difference, not the next big thing, but the new kind headline. A new name for something unlike any other. Many players have been called the next big thing, the next Serena, the successor to Sharapova, the representative of the new generation. But for Eala, people didn't know what to call her, because she was unlike anyone else. She didn't have the rebellious image like Kyrgios, not a teenage sensation like Raducanu. She didn't possess the fiery energy of Osaka, but neither was she the traditional subdued type like Simona Halep. Eala is a strange construct, an intersection between a harsh, military-like discipline and the tranquility of a Zen master. And the remarkable thing is, all of that comes from a 19-year-old. When you look back at that match, you realize all the difference wasn't in tactics or physicality. It was in the mindset. Eala wasn't playing to be famous. She was playing for something almost extinct in modern sports, a silent belief in herself. In a subsequent sports talk show, a veteran coach said, "I don't think she wants to be famous. I think she just wants to be right." That quote immediately went viral. Because it's true, in an era where everyone tries to be somebody, Eala simply tried to be herself, at her maximum version. This is the beginning, not the end headline. The rise of the unchosen. Weeks passed. Match highlights were still shared. But people began to realize this was no longer a good day. Eala continued to win, continued to be silent, continued to move further, round by round, opponent by opponent. The story was no longer, how did she beat Coco Gauff, but became, how far can she go? In an international press conference, a reporter asked, "Alex, do you feel you are becoming a symbol for Asia in tennis?" She simply smiled and replied, "I am just a tennis player. But if what I do can inspire, then I know I'm on the right track." Simple, but right to the core. She didn't need to be built into a hero. She just wanted to be big enough so that children in Manila had a reason not to give up on their dreams. And perhaps it is precisely because she wasn't chosen that Eala is so terrifying. She didn't walk onto the court with a burden of expectation, not a representative of any brand, not a princess destined by fate. She was her own choice, and she chose victory. An account on X wrote, 58 minutes didn't just kill a match, it gave birth to a name. And now, looking back at that match, people no longer ask, who is she? But rather, are you ready for her era? Her name is now a question for all of US. Alex Eala didn't need to win a Grand Slam to be known. She only needed 58 minutes, no yelling, no fist pumps, no provocation. Just pure, precise, and unforgiving tennis. And perhaps that is exactly what sent shivers down people's spines. In a world where everything has to be oversold to attract attention, she chose to do nothing at all. No intimidation, no challenge, no need for the spotlight. Just one shot at the right time, in the right way, hitting the opponent's psychology. And the world had to stop and ask, who is she? But the more important question is, what will she become next? Maybe a champion, maybe an icon, or maybe still that girl, quiet, composed, not chasing the spotlight, but always showing up at the most crucial moments. She didn't come from a prestigious system, not a product of methodical media investment. And that very fact means her shots carry the soul of the unchosen. The kids without an academy, the players without a sponsor, the dreams that were once ridiculed for coming from the wrong place. Do you see yourself in her? Because if you have ever been underestimated, ever been excluded, ever been seen as not good enough, then you will understand why that victory was so seismic. And if you believe that tennis is not just a sport, but a stage where extraordinary people silently emerge from the shadows, then subscribe to Pro Tennis 360. Because we don't just tell the victories, we tell the reasons why they deserve to be remembered. Do you think this is the beginning of a new icon, or just a flash in the pan? Leave a comment below. And if you know who deserves to be explored next, we are listening.